Right, we're on. Okay, morning, gentlemen. How are we today?
Yeah,
Morning,
not too
morning.
bad.
All good, thank you.
Morning.
All right, so welcome everybody to It's Just a Game of Two Halves. Where there's Grandad can't be here today. He's a bit tied up, but he'll be back next week. So we're going to have a little chat about the football. Now, guys, for me, the biggest story of the weekend has to be Coventry getting promoted. I think that's a fantastic story, and I wish them good luck next year. Paul, what's your, I don't know, do you have any memories of playing Coventry?
I actually went up to the old Highfield Road Stadium many, many years ago, and Dion Dublin decided to have a good game, and I'm fairly confident we got humped that day. Actually, so I'll be back in the late '90s probably. Um, and then ever since then, look, we're all quite tribal with our teams, right?
Mhm.
But when you look at the suffering that those supporters have gone through, pretty much for the last 25 years, they lost their ground, didn't they? I think they only
Yeah,
recently bought it back. I think only a couple of years ago, and to see where Frank took them from, I think 17th when he joined, got them into the playoffs, I think last season, and then they've absolutely walked it. I mean, if there's a set of supporters that kind of deserve a bit of happiness, then I think it's probably them, and also I think it's a bit of redemption for Frank as well, because his reputation was tarnished in his second stint at Chelsea, albeit I don't hold him responsible for
yeah.
that. And then Everton didn't go as well as it might have done. So yeah, I'm not normally happy for other teams, but in this instance, I'm over the moon for them.
Oh, that's nice. What about you, Charlie? You got any memories of playing Coventry?
Uh, I always remember him being a difficult side to play against. I think Gordon Strachan was their manager, wasn't it? Like I kind of grew up
Hmm.
with Coventry being a Premier League club, and yeah, it was always a difficult game. Yeah, it was quite sad when they went down because I always associated them with being like a Premier League club and things. But yeah, it's good for them. What was it like you said? I think 25 years you said.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of nice to have them back in. Yeah, see how they get on, I guess.
yeah. It's going to be tough for them. I remember them because I remember as a kid with the football stickers. They had there was a defender, Brian, somebody killed Klein or killed Clyde or something, and I just remember the football sticker with a big beard and the mad hair.
Yeah, he looked like Bigfoot.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
that's my first memory of them. The fact it was sky blue. I have been. I went to the old stadium. I've been. What was it? The old one, Highfield Road, wasn't it?
Mm, yeah.
I've been there. I watched them play there when I was working at Sainsbury's. In fact, they played Liverpool and they lost, but we were sitting near Gordon Strachan and he was actually quite scary. Like, so I wish them good luck. I think it would be hard for them to stay up. I think that's for any club going up. What would you do if you were the chairman of Coventry? Would you go for it, or would you try and be a bit frugal and see how it goes, Charlie?
It's hard, isn't it? Like
Mm.
you've seen it go both ways, where clubs have spent big and it's gone wrong, and then clubs who haven't spent a dime and they've barely won a game. I mean, kind of, it happens a lot with Burnley, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They constantly go up, but then once they're there, it's just like nothing. They go straight back down again. Um, it's a difficult one because their financial situation's not been great and stuff. I think whatever they choose to do, I don't think you can knock them really. Whether they decide to go for it or whether they just whoever got them promoted, just give them a chance.
Yeah. What about you, Paul? Would you go for it?
I think they've got to, live for the moment, right?
Yeah.
It's You might not never get here again, and they can't go mad, as Charlie said, and also PSR is going to be really hard for them to manipulate. But if they did something similar, like if you look at Leeds, where they got Calvert-Lewin, and they got Sunderland brought in Granit Xhaka. I'm not saying I'm saying his name right, but that sort of experience level in an old head in a young squad. If they brought in three or four experienced PL players, I think that would be the way forward. Wouldn't break the bank, I don't think. I think they've got to go for it. I mean, I think I'd rather, like Blackpool when they came up, and they just had a right old go at it, didn't they? I'd much rather
Yeah.
see that than what Burnley have done this year, which is just try and survive if you can, rather than give it a go. But if you look at Leeds, they've gone for it and they're well clear now of relegation. You know, Sunderland have been amazing this year, so it's possible.
Yeah, it is. I know only one promoted team is getting relegated this year, so that I think there should be, I don't know, inspiration. And possibly the team in second place, because it's more interesting than the Premier League at the minute, Millwall. Now, this
God help the
would be.
Premier League.
I know a lot of Millwall fans, and my oldest friend, bless him, was Millwall through and through. And actually, for some of these guys, I think it'd be great fun for them. I think again, it would be hard for them to survive. But so out of them other clubs there, who do you think goes up with Coventry, Paul?
I mean, Southampton have got the momentum, haven't they? Oh, it's probably a little bit too late to get the automatic spot, but yeah, probably. I mean, it could well be Millwall, couldn't it? It really could. It's because the bottom of that division looks like it's pretty much sorted now. Looks like Leicester are dead and buried, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and Ipswich, I think Ipswich had a bit of a poor result the other night. So yeah, second place is up for grabs. But the way Southampton are flying, then I guess anything's possible.
Who do you reckon comes up with them, Charlie?
I mean, because they've got the games in hand, you look at Ipswich, but I think Ipswich play Middlesbrough today at 12. So that's like it would probably suit Millwall if there was a draw there or something like that. You'd like Millwall just for the fact that I like seeing teams going to the Premier League who you don't, not been in the Premier League, or like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't like seeing Burnley go down and then come back. You know, those yo-yo clubs like Norwich and Burnley and West Brom. So I think it'd be good to have Millwall win it. I really do. Not just because it'd be funny watching all those London derbies. Yeah, I do. You got to think Ipswich, though. I think will probably just nick that second spot.
I've got the experience. Speaking of Leicester, I'm going to try and get a Leicester fan on here next week to give us the real inside story. But he's accepted that they're going down, and he said the whole club needs sorting out inside out, and it needs a complete rebuild. So, again, some good fans there, and I hope they turn that around, but we'll see.
But that's just a story of you see this all the time now with clubs that, I mean, them winning the title will never ever happen. Yeah, a club like Leicester, that will never happen again in our lifetimes. I wouldn't have thought. Then I think they beat us in the FA Cup final. They qualified for Europe.
Yeah.
I think they won the Charity Shield. I mean, they were flying high, right? But when you look at their squad now, that's not a bottom three championship squad. They should be challenging for playoff places. But it just goes to show that when a club isn't in tandem, with its players, its manager, its owners, it can seriously go off the rails. And yeah, should be a warning for everyone, because if it can happen to Leicester, who are a really well-run club, really, it's scary, isn't it? Because once you get down into the old third division, that's really hard now to get back out of. The money really does dwindle, doesn't it? So it's they're in trouble.
That happens to clubs, doesn't it? They tend to tumble down leagues. Which, speaking of tumbling down, because I can't not do this, and I'm not going to get told off for it, but the relegation battle in the Premier League is really hotting up. Now, did anyone watch the game yesterday with the Seagulls?
I've seen highlights. Yeah.
So, I mean, as much as I laugh and that, they're in trouble, Spurs. They're in deep trouble.
They are. You just don't see a result happening for them at this point. They just look no confidence whatsoever, and you're always expecting them to just implode almost in every game. I mean, I think Leeds winning 2 games in a row, 39 points now, you would kind of think they're probably out of it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's not like, Spurs, they've got to win. It's not like they can go, well, do you know what, all we've got to do is match Forest's result or West Ham's results. They have got to start winning, and it just don't look like it.
I think if Forest and West Ham win their games this weekend, then the gap Well, yeah, one win's not enough for Tottenham to get them out of trouble, which it has been. You know, they could have won yesterday. West Ham could lose, and they're at the bottom three. If if those results go West Ham and Forest way, then Spurs now need to win 2 games and hope that West Ham and Forest are going to drop some. I mean, goes against everything you kind of believe in, but there's 3 points for Tottenham when they play Chelsea, because I know that, you know, Chelsea are not going to win another game all bloody season. But
Except for that one.
well, that's the one now.
Yeah.
That's the only saving grace of the season, isn't it, for us? But it's no, but Tottenham are really in trouble, and you know, and when you're scrabbling for points when you're 2-1 up, that's just unforgivable. What happened yesterday? It's because you can't drop those 2 points. It's that they really are in trouble, and every week I think, no, they're gonna spite me and get out of it. But every week they just don't seem to improve at all. It's and they're you know, I'm not saying he's the best player I've ever seen, but to lose Romero, I think he's a massive blow, because I think he's always got a rick in him or a red card, but I think he's a sort of a leader on the pitch, and they haven't even got him anymore. So yeah, it's
It's out of their hands. Forest play today, don't they? You're right, yeah. And West Ham tomorrow. So by Monday evening, they could be in deep trouble. It reminds me, do you remember when Forest went down years ago? I can't remember when that was, in the 90s, early 90s, I think.
it was Clough's last season, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah. And everyone said they're too good to go down, they'll get out of it, and they didn't. And then they kind of vanished for, I don't know how long it took them to get back in the Premier League. So it is tough.
I mean, football works in mysterious ways, doesn't it? It's like when Leicester won the title, you'll sit there going, they're never going to win it. They'll start dropping points, they'll fall away. And every week they got another win, and you say, nah, they won't win it. They're never going to win it. But they did, and you know, and these things happen. And if you look at Leeds, I mean, you know, Champions League quarterfinals, I think, and they just tumbled down
Yeah.
divisions. So it happened. I mean, Newcastle. I mean, and they had, and I can't remember the amount of games, but when they brought Shearer in, I think they had like 8 games left, and I don't think they barely got a point. So sometimes it's not about who you bring in as managers. Ultimately, if your players aren't good enough, or the confidence is drained, a good manager doesn't always make the difference, you know. So they could well go down, and it's scary stuff if you're a Spurs fan, right?
Yeah, nice for others, but it's just. Charlie, I wanted to ask your opinion on something, Charlie, because I watched some guy in the week saying that some of these Spurs players have probably already given up, and knowing that if they get relegated, they'll get a move because the club will have to sell and the players are likely to go. And he said some players might, he didn't name any, but he said they might be thinking, you know what, it's better for me if we go down because I can leave. Otherwise, I'm going to have to stay here and be in the same position again next year. Now, I don't know, I don't totally believe that. I think professionals are different. But Charlie, do you think some players might have that at the back of their mind? Like an escape route?
I think so. I mean, I think when West Ham got relegated, did like Defoe the next day hand in a transfer request or something like that, wasn't it? Or 2 weeks later. They probably do have it in the back of their mind. I mean, I doubt any of them have any kind of relegation release clause. But yeah, all right, they'll get a move. But I mean, I'm not looking at Tottenham going, oh, I want him. As much as I like Romero, he's too risky because, you know, there's always a red card in him. Van de Ven, yeah. But you look around that team and none of those players have done enough. And you know, I mean, I don't think Spurs could actually afford to keep some of them anyway, probably. But yeah, for some of them, I mean, I think one of them's on loan, isn't he? So he's just doesn't matter to him anyway. But I think, yeah, a few of them, it probably is in the back of their minds where they're like, well, I'll be off anyway. And then, don't forget, this is 2 seasons in a row where Spurs have been that bad. You know, they got away with kind of that because, you know, they won the Europa League and they got away with it last year and Man United because the bottom 3 teams were so poor. But this is 2 years in a row. This is now not just a one-off season. This is becoming a constant problem.
Yeah, I think they're in trouble. We'll see what happens. Today and tomorrow will make things very interesting. I think we've got it. But going from the bottom to the top, I don't know what you guys think. Do you think today's game, Paul, with Arsenal and Man City, do you think this is like a title decider?
I do actually. I think whoever wins today goes on and wins it. I mean, Arteta, I'm thinking, well, obviously would take a draw today, right?
Yeah.
But if they win, it's gone. Yeah, Arsenal will be champions. If City win, and they are great when if they're the chasing
Yeah.
team, they are fantastic, and they will smell that blood even more. And I think they'll go on and win it. Yes, I think he's albeit Arsenal have got a points gap, haven't they? Still, I think City would hunt them down if they won today. Because I think they've got the rhythm. I think this is the problem with Arsenal this year, because it's all based on set play and set pieces. They don't have that rhythm. They don't have another gear that they're going to go up, where City can, and I think that's the difference. So yeah, it'd be a fascinating game to see how both managers approach it. Because City have got to win. Arsenal
Hmm.
could take the draw, but I think that's a risky move to sit back against City and
Yeah.
try and
What do you
hold them.
think, Charlie? Would you play for a draw or would you go for it if you were Arteta?
I would go for it because I feel like if Arsenal go there with a negative approach and get beat, they are going to be absolutely handed. Because again, he's gone with two, and this has been a major thing. Even Arsenal fans are starting to like he's too negative. They like just try and go there, like have a go. Like we've all done, like all seen our teams where I mean, like I've seen Chelsea and Arsenal go to Old Trafford and go for the win. When they're going for the league. Why are you going to play for a draw for? You are asking for trouble, and it just seems like it might just go the way of the League Cup final again, where Arsenal start well and then they end up sitting back, and then City just take control of the game.
Yeah, I think if City win it, I think they'll go on a momentum. They second half last week they stepped up levels, and we were no match for them. We're nowhere near it. Manager and all that. I can moan all day, but there was no. They just sort of kind of went from first gear to second, third gear, and just destroyed us in 20 minutes, and that's it. And the game's over. So I'm looking at them two at the top. Do you think Charlie United have now down that third place?
I do. I don't know how, because I think we've been really poor all season. We had that good start under Carrick for like a month, and I don't actually think we've played well since we've probably beaten Arsenal. It's been a real struggle, but somehow we're third. I mean, I know you two ain't going to want to talk about yesterday's game, but I thought the game was a reflection of both teams, and it was poor.
Yeah.
I don't know how we've done it. I really don't. I can only think, again, it just for me it shows how much of a poor league it's been.
I
Yeah.
think he's done it, Charlie, by just going back to basics. Sometimes these managers are sort of wedded to a formation like Amarin, where you didn't have the players to play how he wanted to, but he stuck with it anyway. And I think Carrick's done nothing more than go, well, we can't play that way, so I'm going to go four at the back. I'm going to get Mainu back in the team because he's brilliant,
Yeah.
and we're just going to make us consistent and just go back to basics for the rest of the season. And I think and this year, like you say, 'cause it's such a poor league, that has just been enough, because Chelsea aren't
Yes.
consistent, Liverpool aren't consistent, Villa aren't consistent. So you are. But yesterday's game was just awful, when it all round really. But yeah, you've got third now, and you're in Champions League, and that'll make a massive difference again. So financially, will be huge for Man United. So it's
Oh yeah, massive. Yeah. I mean, going from finishing where we did last year, the jump. We needed this. Like we really, really did. So it's kind of that's good. I mean, like he did go back to basic, but I think for me it was just the fact that him going back to basics at the beginning worked, but it seems to have tailed off a lot. We seem to
yeah,
there seems to be a lot of space in the midfield again. I mean, let's not forget, like Chelsea at the bar twice yesterday, at the post twice. Like the defense doesn't look as resolute as it once did. It is a worry. I mean, I don't think he'll end up being the full-time manager anyway, but yeah,
So I think that kind of a bit set in the Premier League. I think Villa would take that fourth spot and Liverpool would take fifth, unless I can't see Chelsea going on a run. I can't see them doing anything at the minute. They look clueless for most of the game. Passing the ball around for 10 minutes when we're losing 1-0 doesn't help anyone. But that's the Champions League bit. So talking of the Champions League, did anybody watch probably what was game of the season the other night with Munich and Madrid?
Yeah.
That was a special game of football. Yeah.
How would you describe that game, Paul, to someone who doesn't know football or has only watched boring Premier League games like last night? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not normally like that. I think that's how I describe it. That's how it used to be, sort of 30 years ago or something. But it's just two. I mean, we played Bayern, didn't we? I think it was our first game, wasn't it, in the Champions League this year? And they just absolutely walked us. It was they really are a good side, and they've got a very, they've got a young manager, but he knows what he wants to do. They play great football, and when you've got a Harry Kane up front, you're always going to be hard to stop. And Madrid, they just know how to play that tournament, don't they? And because they've been off it. But yeah, just a mental game of football.
I think great game, proper football that was. What do you think, Charlie? Did you watch any of that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's what you want the Champions League to be, though, doesn't it? Like that, when it gets to the later stages and these teams meet, that is what you want. As a neutral, you want to sit down and go, I can't wait for this. And that's exactly what that was. Same to a degree with Atletico Barcelona. I thought the Madrid game was by far better, but even that game, it was great to watch. And I know the red cards probably maybe ruined both, but again, from a neutral point, that's what you want. You want to sit down and go, I can't wait for this. And you don't get too many games like that now. That's the worrying thing for me.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams play, like we've just spoken there, maybe today of Arsenal, they play not to lose rather than play to win. But speaking of that, if you look at these teams left in that, now I backed Bayern Munich after they dismantled Chelsea back in September. I mean, it can only be positive. If they win and Kane stays fit, do you think that actually gives England a decent chance in the World Cup this summer?
You would hope so, wouldn't you? I mean, he would be going into that tournament absolutely raring to go. And you need that. Sometimes it only takes that one player who will just carry you through a tournament. And he could very well be that for us, 100%.
Let's hope so. We'll talk about the World Cup nearer the time, obviously, as well. Do that. What else has happened in football this week? Has anyone got? Yeah, I mean, there were other Champions League games, and we've kind of just avoided them. Did anyone watch those?
Well, I
again,
think
just highlights.
But
yeah, Arsenal. Sorry, Charlie, but so Arsenal just bored their way through. That I suspect that's as far as they're going to get. I just can't see them beating any of the teams that are left. And the PSG game was just a procession, really, wasn't it? They were already through, really. So those games didn't have the jeopardy of the other two, where 1 minute, like Atletico are through, and then Barca score, and then they're going through. You didn't have any of that on the other sort of games. But
I asked that because an Arsenal friend of mine watched the Madrid game. He didn't watch his own team.
Blame him.
He went, it was
no, I don't
boring.
blame him. Yeah, it's crazy. I think it was weird with the PSG game because like Liverpool at Anfield in the Champions League, they just always have that something, but you never felt it. You never felt they was gonna be one of those Anfield nights. It's odd, and they've got Everton today, and I actually think Everton are going to beat them.
Yeah, that's a big game. We forgot about that. Oh, I think it's finally time that. So they would be pushing for a European place, Everton.
If Everton win, I don't think they're going to be too far away. And I think the way Liverpool are playing, I genuinely think that Everton could do it.
Well, and Liverpool have just probably lost their best player, haven't they? Like, I can't say his name, but he's out with an Achilles injury, isn't he? And he's going to be a massive miss because Isak can't be fit. can't be anywhere near match fit. I know he played it during the week, but no, I mean, I'd fancy Everton to. I think it's at Everton as well, isn't it today?
Yeah.
I think I'd fancy them to win it, and I mean they could push on. I mean, technically, I mean that they could finish fifth. It's up fifth is up for
Yeah.
grabs, isn't it? It's
And fifth, if I'm correct, will be a Champions League spot.
it will, yeah.
It will.
With that, so
Well,
I mean,
they'll go 2 points behind Liverpool if they win.
right, and that momentum carries, doesn't it?
Well, I think that's that. Well, that is football, isn't it? Like Charlie said, sometimes he just needs one player. I mean, Maradona won the World Cup for Argentina. You would argue that Messi won the World Cup for Argentina. I mean, it happens, right? But momentum is massive in football, not just during the game, but across the course of a season or a tournament. And if you've got, and especially at this end of the season, if you've got momentum, then I'd rather have momentum, I think, than a small lead at the moment.
Yeah.
So
I think that's key. Yeah.
Okay, I want to move on to something else. I don't know if you guys have seen this. He was a West Ham player, Paolo Di Canio. Apparently, he was he was headbutting a desk while having the live debate, right, an Italian TV or Italian Sky or something. It was apparently to the point that his head was bleeding. And Capello had to give him like a tissue or a hanky or something to wipe his head, the blood off it. So I'm going to ask, it's worth check out the video. It'll be on YouTube. Have you ever seen a pundit on live have a complete meltdown or a complete?
I don't think. I mean, I've watched pundits and feel like headbutting the table myself. I mean, I've had the opposite. But no, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that. And I hadn't heard about that, but all I'd say is I'm not surprised. I mean, the bloke's an absolute lunatic, isn't he? It's
He's very passionate.
He's very passionate.
I'd have to watch that to try and understand it, but I just thought it was. I've just looked at the stories from last week, and imagine that on live TV. I mean, I don't think we're going to get that on Sky Sports Saturday afternoon, are we?
no, probably not.
But I think Roy Keane's wanted to headbutt a few people sometimes.
Oh, yeah. He had that against Arsenal. I just wondered, it was one of my funny stories from the week.
Di Canio's always been a lunatic. I mean, he pushed the ref over, didn't he? And things like those. It's against Sheffield Wednesday or something. Can't remember.
Yeah.
But he's but my God, what a footballer. He was a majestic footballer. Absolute fruitcake, but unbelievably good for some of the goals were just top draw, weren't they?
It leads me into something, because there's a documentary on Netflix, which I haven't seen yet, about Ronaldinho, and I will watch that because I think he was an amazing player. But people like him and Di Canio, can you think of anyone in the game currently that's anywhere near that level of craziness and talent?
No. I feel like I don't think footballers are almost allowed to have character almost these days. You know, they've got kind of got to be trained to within an inch of their life, and everything, instructed down to the finest detail. It's like they're not really allowed to be expressive, and I don't think social media has helped, because everything goes on social media now and everything else. It would be nice to have a few more characters in the game, definitely, because that's what you want. Like Ronaldinho made a generation fall in love with football. And, say what you want about he didn't last that long in terms of, his star didn't shine bright for very long. But what he did was just incredible.
Yeah. What do you think, Paul? Anyone out there, or you think the future that would be like that?
See, players like that, you would put the Champions League game on just to go and watch that player, even if you had no interest in the game. Ronaldinho's playing, Messi's playing, whoever. And like Charlie says, and you look at the players now, because I think football in those days as well used to be just get the ball to those guys. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You can't train Ronaldinho how to play football. You can't tell Gaza how to play football. Just give him the ball and let him do what he does best. And now I think everything's so data driven and everything's so robotic. And I'm sure there's players out there with that. You're not telling me that Esteval isn't one of the most skillful players around at the moment, but again, are not allowed to express himself. And so no, I'm just hoping we're going to get out of this horrible tippy tappy possession based football, and allow creative footballers to play football. 'Cause that's what we all want. Is, every club's got them. I mean, Palmer, I suspect he's just carrying a bit of an injury this season, but you just want to see him on the ball all of the time, don't you? And one of the reasons Tottenham are struggling is because they have no Kudus. He's there. And as you said, like, one player can make the world a difference. I mean, that's probably having a massive impact on them. So, but when I think of it, I can't. Is it Dembele won the Ballon d'Or
Yeah.
last year, and he's nowhere close to Ronaldinho, is he? Bloody good, but he's not Ronaldinho good. So no, I don't think those players are.
Like you said, Charlie, as well, trained within an inch of their lives in a sense, and robotic. It's just a shame because I watched my friend plays it in the 4th league in Poland, and their game, they won 6-1 against a team just below them in the table. But the game really could have been 10-5, 10-6. I realised the level's a lot lower, but both teams just went for it. And the other team, I thought the keeper played well for my friend's team. But it was great. It was a better game than what I watched last night in the Premier League. And it just shows a bit of expression can change a game and wins you games, doesn't it? It's great to watch with it. Okay, so moving on, because we're going to wrap this up in a minute. I would like some predictions for today in the Premier League. So the first one, I've got Aston Villa, Sunderland. Paul, what do you reckon happens there?
2-1 Villa.
Yeah, we're going for Villa. Charlie?
I'll go 1-0 Villa.
So we've got Villa. So I'm going to stick that down as a draw just because they played in Europe in the week, and I think they'll win that Europa League, Aston Villa. And I think Emery's won it 4 times. He knows how to. They're in the Champions League. He knows how to win it. Okay, Everton Liverpool was the big one there in the early kickoff. So do we think Everton can beat them?
I think Everton 2-0.
Yeah, I think Everton can beat them. They're solid at the back, and I think they'll beat them. Paul, what do you think? Do you think they'll beat them?
I'm in like a football prediction thing, and I think I've got it as a Desmond.
Yeah. Right, Forest Burnley's probably the easiest one to predict because I'm going Forest with that. They're at home. I don't think they could have asked for a better game. Right now, personally, I'm assuming you both agree with that one.
Yeah, I think Forest win quite comfortably. I would have thought. Yeah.
Yeah, 2-0.
And to wrap it up, then, Man City, Arsenal. What are we going for? No sitting on the fence.
2-0 City.
5-1 City.
Oh, now that would be worth watching.
Good, wouldn't it? I bet there's more in hope than expectation, but yeah. I think City will win.
I think City will beat them. If they score early, then there could be a big score, but I think it'll be tight. I think Arsenal, unless there's an early goal, I'd only be looking at 1-0 City, maybe 2-1. Because they're not as good at the back as they were. I mean, they dominated last week, but against a team that hasn't got a clue at the minute. So I don't know. But I will watch that, and I hope the biggest thing is I hope it's a good game. That's the biggest thing. Let's hope. So, okay, thank you guys for today. Anyone listening, please like and subscribe. And if you want to come on the show, just ping us a message. Thank you, gentlemen. See you next time.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.